What's up, everybody? This is Bree from Young, Saved, and Free, and I'm back with this week's, not Thankful Thursday, but it is Thursday, and it is time for the devotional. Y'all excuse my background, Corona is real. Protect yourself, okay? Lysol at the door. The door is literally right here in front of me, or next to me, and no, my background looks a little different, but, we're just going to go with it. We're going to go with it today. So, this week, we are, wait. Before we get started, we need to address a couple things, okay? I know I look crazy. I'm working from home this week, and this is what you gonna get. I look like Miss Seeley under this timing, but that's okay. It's okay. Throw some hoops, and I'm cute, okay? Listen. But also, make sure that you all like my Facebook page, and that it's gonna be Young, Saved, and Free on Facebook, and it's also connected to my Instagram. So if you guys are not already following my Instagram and Facebook, make sure you do that. Come on now, why wouldn't you do that? And also make sure you're subscribed to my mailing list by clicking the link in the description box below, and also make sure you are subscribed to my channel. So do that by just take a minute real quick and just click that red subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss another video from me. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. And this week it is entitled Put You First. So this week we are going to be talking about, just putting God first, okay? So, like I told y'all, Corona is real. So I got my little setup back here. My auntie has done this. We have to Lysol at the door. This is not a game. This is not a test. This is the real deal, okay? But we'll be coming from Devotional 4:23-24. And it says, "So be careful not to break the covenant that the Lord your God has made with you. Do not make idols of any shape or form, for the Lord has forbidden. The Lord your God is a devouring fire. He is a devouring fire." Oh my gosh, I don't know why I can't read today. He is a jealous God. So if y'all see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. I have the devotional in my phone as well. So, at this time, we really, it's gotten insane. It's been bad, but, it's come really close to home for me and my family. One of our relatives has passed away from it. We have some other people in our family that have been affected by it. And it's been crazy. But, and I work for the state of Florida, and they shut down everything yesterday, even though technically the offices are open, but we're working from home. So it's it's getting out of hand, and it's so crazy. And even with all of that, we can't put our fears and what we think is going to happen in the forefront, because God is still in control. God still should be the first and foremost in your life, regardless of what's going on. He created this entire universe. He knew this was going to happen. So if he knows that it's going to happen, then what do you have to worry about? He's in control, right? So, and I think it was Sarah Jakes Roberts, I believe, that said it. That we make whatever we have our mind set on, that's what we make our deity. So, and to make something a deity means to make it your God. So if we're always, well, the government said this and the government said that, and blah, blah, and I get it. It's great to be informed. It is. It's great. You should always stay informed. But when you put your cares and your anxieties into that thing, then you're making it your God, because you're supposed to cast your cares and your burdens onto God. That's just what it is. And so if we're constantly panicking about this, you don't know who your God is. You've forgotten the person you were in a relationship with, right? So, and to be honest, it's just, well, some people, they really idolize this whole pandemic, honestly. And like I said, it is definitely reason to have concern, but to worry excessively, to become so anxious over in excess, it's not called for. It's not. And if we're in a real relationship with God, then we know that we love on him in spirit and in truth, right? So if we know the truth is that he is in control, the truth is that he's bigger than this, the truth is that yes, this is a big problem, but he is a God-sized God, then what I'm not understanding it. So If we are constantly second guessing what's happening, and thinking about, what if this quarantine never ends? Like, what if it lasts forever? Why, if you don't want that to be the case, then you know that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all of that. Why would you even voice that thought? Because out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. And if I'm so in love with somebody, I'm not even gonna. There's no doubt in my mind of what He's able to do. Right. So, and to me, it kind of made me think about how we idolize some other things. This whole thing has been like eye-opening for me about how we idolize other things in our life. And for some people, that may be their material things, that may be relationships, whatever. And I talked about this a little bit on the Tuesday Talk last week, and did I do a midweek push too? I don't know if I did a midweek push that week, but I know I definitely talked about it on the Tuesday Talk and the Thankful Thursday. I definitely talked about it then. Make sure you guys check out this week's Tuesday Talk and Thankful Thursday. The Tuesday Talk is on this channel, it's right before this video, and the Thankful Thursday is on Instagram on IGTV. And we get so consumed by what's going on around us, and that kind of is what brings me to my text. So this week we're going to be coming from the story of Samson and Delilah, right? And this is not the typical take on this story. I know I'm a little bit out of the box, I'm a little unorthodox, and that's okay too. And that story we're going to start with Judges 16 verses 4 through 9. So just looking at the text, which is what I'm doing, that's why I'm looking down, y'all, I promise. Just looking at the text, you really don't know who you're coming in contact with or what their motives are. And so it's interesting to see, and I didn't even write this into Devotional. It's interesting to see how enthralled he was with Delilah, and how enamored he was, and just taken over by her. And he didn't even know she never had his best interest at heart. It was always for her personal gain. Like, it's crazy. And I'm like, he didn't know that, but he was infatuated with what his idea of her was, right? And it's like, how do you, and it makes me think about some other people that I've been in relationships with, like, did you really love me? Or were you just using me? Were you trying to take advantage of who I was? And I know for some people I know the answer to that, and for other people I don't. And I really don't care to know the answer, to be honest, because if they were supposed to be here, they would be here, right? But with Samson and Delilah, it's very interesting, because it's like, if you know the story, that when Samson was born and everything, he was a Nazarite. He was supposed to be dedicated to God. He could never cut his hair. He could never drink wine or eat anything unclean. That was established before he was even born. Before his mother was even carrying him, that thing was already established, And so it's like, how do you, and even in the previous stories, I think it's around chapter 13 or so, there was a time Samson knew who his wife was, and his parents didn't know, and he was telling them, go get her for me. But like, he didn't know that God had already told him that was his wife. But now we're in a position where somebody is using you to the point that you don't even recognize, you can't even hear from your star player, in the words of Cat Williams. That's always going to be one of my favorite Cat Williams, because it's so, like, and that's how I know I'm in way too deep, because if I can take something spiritual from Cat Williams, what is wrong with this picture? But if you're staying in tune with God, then you know, okay, God said this is that about this person and that person, and He gave me a spirit of discernment to know this person is not it for me. That person is not right for me. But Samson was just like, I want her, and he completely left the covenant that he had with God. Like, he left that covenant altogether. And it was, like we read in Deuteronomy 4:23, do not break your covenant with God. But that's exactly what he did. And that led him to a place where he didn't really know who he was. He didn't know who God was. He didn't know who Delilah was, to be honest. And what's funny to me is you what was really funny to me was that I started thinking about myself in my relationship, how I behave in my relationship. Because if y'all are anything like me, I love so hard. Like when I tell you I am all or nothing type of girl, like I'm either all the way in with you or I don't want nothing to do with you. Like there's never a gray area for me when I'm in love, and or when I'm in a relationship with her, I'm all in. So I'm just thinking, like, how many times did I put something over somebody else? Like how many times have I done that? Because it wasn't intentional for me to do it, but it does happen sometimes. And so when you get down to the next 10 verses, verses 10 through 20, you see exactly what Samson is doing. Samson has abandoned this whole covenant with God at this point. Like he was just like, God, hold on, because I want her. Okay, I want her. And even in spite of that, it's like he's so blinded by love. It's literally he is blinded by love. Well, not yet in the text, but he will be. Yeah, if y'all know the story, right? But he's blinded by it. He's so, what's the word? He's just, what's the word? Oblivious. That's the word. He's oblivious to everything when it comes to her. And it's like you can see the progression of him leaving his relationship with God, because every time she would ask him what his weakness was, first of all, false. When she kept asking him that, the first thing that came to my mind, and I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm a 90s baby, okay? I am a true 90s baby, and my daddy used to play Joe all the time. And I don't know if y'all remember the song I Want to Know, but there's a line in that song that says, I want to know what makes you cry so I can be the one to make you smile. And I feel like that's what Delilah was doing to him. She was playing with him. She was like, oh, what's your weakness? So I don't play on your weaknesses. And this whole time she plotting. It's almost like Hercules, except Meg actually loved Hercules. Delilah, on the other hand, that little nat, no ma'am, she ain't about the right. She's not about the right. So so just listening to her, she's trying over and over and over to get it from him, like to get him to tell her. And he's like, oh, I can't do this. And then she tries it. And then she's like, you love me? How are you going to love me? You won't tell me the truth. And this whole thing is so manipulative. Like and it's not just her manipulating him. He's manipulating her too. And it's like, that's not healthy. It's so dysfunctional. Like it's so dysfunctional. And it makes me think about some singles, like some singles, they make love their God. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to compromise who they are. They're willing to be manipulated. They're willing to manipulate others just to have that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Like they all, whatever their happily ever after is, they're willing to do whatever it takes. And I'm not just talking about singles. I'm talking about people, period. People, period, are willing to do whatever it takes to get their happily ever after. And that's why you have to check your motives. One, like you really have to check not just the person that you're connected to's motives, but your own. You have to make sure you have it with a clear heart, a pure heart, and make a prayer. God, give me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. Because if your heart is not pure, then everything you do has an ulterior motive, and that's just not who you're supposed to be. So when I look at this dysfunction, it's like he knows that she's playing him. He has to know. Like he has to know, because she didn't try it just once or twice. Like she didn't just try it once and then was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. But she kept doing it. She kept, though, even the way she worded it when she was talking to him about it was like, you ain't no good. Like you ain't no good. And it made me really think about these other relationships that I've been in the past. So like, for example, back when I was in college, my freshman year of college, I was in this situationship, we're gonna call it that, with this guy, and we were both benefiting each other. I got what I wanted, he got what he wanted. I didn't want nothing but my bills paid. Okay, like, I'm a broke college student. I had to make it by any means necessary, and when I say any means necessary, that's exactly what I meant back then. Like, I knew what the situation was. I knew what it was. I knew what it wasn't. He wanted, physical things and, in a relationship, and that's just not what I wanted at the time. But what I did want, definitely wanted my bills paid, and he paid my rent for the year up front. I said, oh, okay. And I know this is way more transparent than, you guys are probably used to, but it is what it is. That's just how I was back then. And it's like, I completely, even though my freshman year of college was when me and God first, like, oh, hey, God, that's you. I've never seen you before. I've never met you before. It's so great to meet you. It was like we had our introduction thing. And that was 10 years ago. It's crazy. Well, technically at this point, it's March, so like 9.5 years ago. It ain't been 10 yet. But, for me to get so deep into this situationship, and I don't know, God was like, didn't we just meet? I was, you, like, he couldn't even get the words out, like he's just like, I could have paid all your bills, but this is what you want, you got it. He gives us free will, and so he watches me fall, and he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm not gonna step in yet. I'm just watch this happen for a minute. And it was like he took a back seat. He willingly took a back seat in my life. Not because really, and it was because I put him there. It wasn't because he wanted to be there. I put him in that place. It wasn't. God gives us free will to make these decisions. He gives us a choice to be obedient. When you make that choice and you're not forced, that's real love. Love is discipline. I told y'all that last week. Love is discipline. To be able to still fulfill your role as his child, I'm still going to be obedient. Even though I can choose to do whatever I want to do because I'm grown, I choose to be obedient to him because I love him. I choose to stay in my position, stay in what I'm supposed to be, because that's just who I am. That is who he created me to be. So back to the story, we put ourselves in these situations that God did not ordain for us, and we compromise who we are, and we allow people to chip away at us and be able and redefine who we are, knowing that we know who we are. And it's like we get to a place and we're like, God, where you at? You left him way back there when he told you not to go that direction. You went anyway. He still covers you, but he's not with you in that decision. Yes, God is with you wherever you go, but he didn't tell you to do that. He didn't tell you to do that, sis. He didn't tell you to be with that dude. He didn't tell you to be with that girl. He didn't tell you to do none of that. But that was your decision. So now you're having to live with the consequences, because it is scripture. You reap what you sow. What you sow, you shall also reap. Right? That is scripture. So he has to stand by his word. That's what his word says. Okay, then I have to stand back and let this happen, because this is what I said. The wages of sin is death. Right? I'm not saying, I didn't say what kind of death it was. It could be spiritual, it could be mental, it could be emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be all these things. But we don't think about that. What we see is, this could be God showing me my happily ever after. No. If you're in covenant with him like you're supposed to be, you would know. He would give you some signs. He would give you something. He would speak to you before. Because he never does anything without first revealing it to the prophets. Right? Right. So now we're going to keep going in the story. And it's just, well, we're not going to keep going in the story. Sorry about that. Had another thought. So we idolize this. What is my happily ever after? We idolize the thing, right? And so we're like, oh, whatever it takes. So like, whatever it takes. And that shouldn't be the case. God has been with you the whole time, but it's like you allow what your desires are to overshadow who He is. Like He's not the light in the darkness. He's not a way maker, a miracle worker, a promise keeper. If He promised you those things, then they're going to come to pass. Then that's just what it is. If He promised you, it's going to come to pass, sweetheart. So, and even looking at this text, one of the most dangerous things that I saw was that Samson did not realize that God was not with him anymore. So he went on his own way and didn't realize God wasn't there. As a matter of fact, what scripture is that? Verse 20. And then she cried out, Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you. When he woke up, he thought, I will do as before and shake myself free. But he didn't realize the Lord had left him. He was in his own will at that point. He was completely in his own will. And it's like, that is so scary to not realize you're not in the presence of God anymore, because God's presence is so heavy that you should know something don't feel right. Something feels off about this. Something just does. But when you broke your covenant with Him, you put all your benefits to the side. That's like walking away from a job. You put all your benefits on the side. Yeah, sometimes, it's a little heavy. And sometimes you don't like the stipulations that come with it. But you lose your benefits. You lose your living, your bread and butter. You lose all of that. Your way of living. You lose, your means, everything. You lose all of that. Why would you want to do that for just a moment? For a temporary situation? Why would you want to do that? And so he abandoned God first, and then realized God wasn't there. So really, it wasn't that God wasn't with him. He left God. God was standing there the whole time. He was like, you know what, forget this. I'm going to go over here where you're not at. And so every time we acknowledge, that we have a thing that we really want, we have to be very careful about how much weight we give it, okay? Be very, very careful and conscientious about that, because sometimes we are willing to completely remove ourselves from God for that. So, like, is He worth it? Is that man worth it? Is the relationship worth it? Are the drugs worth it? Are the tears you crying at night? Is that worth it? Oh, okay. Because if it's not, then why aren't you putting God first? Why aren't you allowing Him to make the decisions for you? And every time we put something above Him, that's discrediting who He is. So, like, let's say, well, God, I need my bills paid. I'm a provider. What are you saying? I can do all this. I made the stuff that you need. I'm the plug. Like, I'm the plug. Why would you need to go to somebody else? And so now we're in verses 21 through 30, and we see that even though we weren't faithful, that Samson was not faithful to God, God was still faithful to him. He still allowed him to have victory. Love literally blinded Samson, and God still gave him glory. There was still going to be glory after what happened. And even though the suffering of this present time there was nothing compared to the glory, he still gave Samson the desires of his heart. Still. Even in his death, He still gave him the desires of his heart. That's just how God is. He is faithful. He is real. He is all these things. So why would you want to put perfect expectations on someone that's imperfect, on something that is man-made, or something that is not intended to be flawless? You understand? Because the only thing that's flawless is God. At the end of the day, God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He's been flawless. He will always be flawless. He's perfect. He is everything. So why wouldn't you want to put Him first? I don't understand it, and I'm not here to chastise you all. I'm not here to do anything. I just want you all to think about it, because when I wrote this, I really have to sit back and think, wow, God, this is what you want from me? All right, I can do that. I can put, not my way, but your way. I can do that for right now. I can do that. But that's all I have for y'all. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.